and I know you wanted to talk about soundtracks. So I'm gonna get into one which I know if you're not gonna talk about it, I know I can get you going. The Queen of the Damned.
Okay. What do you like about it?
Let me just say, to kind of put this in perspective, I bought that CD in 2002, and I didn't pull it out of my car's CD player for like a year. That's how good that CD was to me.
Right. Yeah. I agree. Good choice.
The movie is not, again, might as well not exist. But the shining star from that movie are those what is it, 3 original songs from Jonathan Davis, which he sang on the movie, but they wouldn't put it on the CD, so he went and got the lead singer of Disturbed. He got Marilyn Manson, and the lead singer of Linkin Park, and the lead singer of Orgy, Jay Gordon. They're just fascinating because they're set in the mindset of a vampire. What is they're supposed to stay hidden, and they're supposed to follow these codes and these rules. And there's the one that comes along and says, "No, I'm not going to do it. Matter of fact, I'm going to start a rock band. And I'm going to give away all our secrets. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to do one album and one concert." And just those songs are so amazing, man. The lyrics, the distinctions between when he sings them in the movie versus the way they appear on the CD, it's amazing. I know you enjoyed that CD a lot. You're actually the one that put me onto it.
Yeah, I think the music elevated the movie, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
You could do without the movie. I think it captured the essence of a vampire rock star. They're dark and they're brooding, and it's almost painful when you hear these guys, screaming and singing at the same time. Marilyn Manson, he won me over just based on this one song.
So instead you taste my face. You say your life I'm taking, always bothering me. I can't take this anymore, I'm failing, always bothering me. You look down on me, ain't what you see.
They just fit the profile of the movie perfectly.
Well, and I think too, what helped too is if you own the DVD, listen to the special features, and what they talk about is how they're all fans of the books.
Mm-hmm.
So they had that appreciation going into it, like, wow, I'm getting to sing as Lestat, essentially, for this Queen of the Damned, this Anne Rice novel. The end of Redeemer itself, when he's saying, "It's haunting me,
yeah,
like over and over and over. Dude, I mean, it was just so good.
It's just eerie.
System by Chester Bennington again. Why won't you die? Just over and over.
So the soundtrack kind of matches the story of the movie.
Yeah, and there's other songs on there. That was one of my first introductions to Papa Roach. That Dead Cell song was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Down with the Sickness, which is kind of an overplayed song, but back then that was still a pretty cool song. Deftones is on there. Deftones got a special place in my heart for Deftones.
Mm-hmm.
Change in a House of Flies is on there. Just that scene with Lestat and Aaliyah in the bathtub with roses and everything. That song's playing. It's so cool. There's a couple good standout scenes from the movie, but the music is what makes anything good about that movie. Other than Aaliyah, which I thought was pretty cool to see her as the Queen of the Damned, the Queen of all vampires. I wish she would have had a track on the soundtrack. That would have been neat.
I'll see your Queen of the Damned, and I'll match you with Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Oh, that's in my car right now.
Favorite track, The Fields of Pelennor. And what I like about it is because you've had 2 previous movies. Howard Shore, the composer, he's been building all these themes for these 3-hour epic movies, and Return of the King soundtrack is the culmination of all of them, and you get a sense of all of them. And some of them are inverted or twisted, or they're combined in different ways. But and there's so many great standalone themes in there, like the Gondor's theme when Gandalf is riding up the streets of Gondor, and you just have this epic swelling of the brass with Pippin on his back. It's great. You also have the Siege of Gondor, or the Siege of Minas Tirith, when the track is listed Fields of Pelennor, but that's when the Nazgul attack the city and it's flying over, and you just have this choir just screaming over the orchestra, and at the same time, if you listen,
that's why I like those. Yeah.
You can still hear that theme of Gondor, just contrasting with this dissonance and chaos of the orcs and the attack. It's great. It's beautiful. It matches the scene perfectly. You also you hear the Rohan theme of the horsemen when they attack, and it swells to its apex when Frodo is on Mount Doom and he's casting the ring in. The end of all things, epic. Everything about this soundtrack is epic, and finally ending with Return of the King, when Viggo Mortensen is actually singing. It's just calm. It's
That's
his
right.
coronation. Yeah. It's just beautiful. So a lot of great themes in the entire Lord of the Rings soundtrack, but I think Return of the King was Howard Shore's way of just writing a beautiful end to everything that he had planned and built a foundation on before in his previous movies.
I will probably butcher the man's name if I try to pronounce it, but I'll just go with The Others. The score for the movie The Others. It's such a calm, soothing soundtrack, which is why I like it. The very first track, called The Others, on the CD, the woodwinds come in. It's just calm, and then the strings come in, and it's
haunting.
The first 3 or 4 songs, you get this sense of, there's sadness. It's haunting. Someone's gone through something tragic, and you feel that, but it's so soothing at the same time. It's so relaxing, that's kind of a dark horse favorite of mine, if you will. I mean, it's one I guarantee you not very many people have heard. I don't even know if you can find it on YouTube to listen to be honest. I don't know.
Everything's on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll see. I probably have some stuff that's not. I don't know. But that would be my next choice. There's a couple, where there's a couple tracks where the music swells and gets kind of intense and loud, but that's during, where they find the creepy little girl, like she's an old grandma, and so there's some scary stuff in there, but for the most part it's pretty subdued. It's pretty relaxing, because it's kind of a sad movie, right? Nicole Kidman is going through some hard times. Her husband is coming and going, and turns out they've been dead all along. They're coming to terms with that, and or they're discovering actually that they've been dead, and then they got to come to terms with it. And so it's kind of a sad movie, which is the score definitely reflects that tone of the movie for sure. Definitely recommend it if you haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's very somber. There's dread in it. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's creepy.
And I think that was his as a maestro. I think that was his first American film too, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely check it out.
Okay. So you've seen Kill Bill, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's another one you made me watch. Going through your Tarantino phase.
So there's no orchestra. It's just a mishmash of.
Wasn't it the dude from Wu-Tang Clan did some of the tracks on there?
The RZA.
Yeah,
and Quentin Tarantino, and you just have all of these different songs. What I loved about his soundtrack was there was no single type of music genre to it. He mixed country with disco, with
Yep.
Nancy Sinatra.
There's a little bit of hip hop in there.
Oh,
I mean,
right. Had some orchestra and there's some Asian themes to it. The scene with Oren Ishii versus the bride when "Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood" plays. When she takes off her sandals, steps into the snow, and then you just hear that clack 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 clack. clack.
if you've never seen the movie, you don't know it's a revenge flick. You listen to some of these songs, you're like, man, somebody's about to get it. Somebody's about to get it. By listening to some of these tracks, they're so well produced. You see the name RZA, right? And you know he's with the Wu-Tang Clan. You would not immediately. Most people probably didn't immediately assume that this music was going to be as great as it was. And
I think it made the movie. It helped. It
he
just
blew
helped
it out of the park. I mean, good God, it was so good.
Yeah, help
So
set the
good.
scenes, match the mood.
Yeah.
That ending scene when David Carradine's character Bill reveals that the bride's daughter's still alive, and the whole time in the background you just have this calm, mellow flute playing, and then he reveals this, and at the same time the music suddenly just changes. Doom, doom. You hear the drum drop and the beat drop, and it swells into something else, and it's great.
Phantom of the Opera, though, man, to me, is a masterpiece. Andrew Lloyd Webber, I would, man, masterpiece of music. Whether you're talking about the original cast recording or the 2004 version of the same, amazing. Especially when you think of the 2004 version, because it is Gerard Butler, Emmy Rossum. That most of the actors sang their own parts except for Minnie Driver.
Right.
But it's amazing, man. It's
They have
I
a
don't
lot
know,
of
wait.
die-hard fans who, they swear on the original. The
original cast recording?
Yeah, yeah.
what is it?
And they
Sarah
hate-
Brightman?
They,
Is it?
yes.
Yeah.
They hate the movie version.
I mean, I can see why. But then again, I mean, there are subtle differences. But there are some times where I listen to the original cast and I'm like, I like that. But then there's sometimes when I listen to the movie, I'm like, man, because Gerard Butler sounds more. He's got that like gnarly. He's got his throat, that guttural, like he sounds imposing. Whereas the one from the original cast it is like, yeah, I wouldn't probably be afraid of you.
Yeah, he's nasally. He's more
Yeah.
high-pitched, I think.
Yeah, and then Carlotta, her story arc in the movie is so great. The prima donna, the diva, getting usurped by the study. So those lyrics, when they add those in there, and then you have the two clueless owners, they take over. Just the music itself, very 80s with the heavy synth in it, and it's just amazing though. It's so good. The electric guitar. At the same time, you have this beautiful opera going on. It's just it's one of those weird mishmashes, but it works. It just works, man. It's so good.
Down Once More alone is 12 minutes, over 12 minutes of music, and I think that's the best one because it almost captures every theme of the entire opera, and it has everything in it. Like you said, it has his despair, but it also has his redemption in it towards the end when he finally does let Christine go, and then it has the love between her and the Vicomte, our favorite character.
Raoul.
And then in the background you have the chanting of the people who want to kill him. So it mixes everything. It's the pinnacle of everything. Mad Max Fury Road by Junkie XL.
Okay.
Have you seen that one?
No, I own it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Dude, watch it.
It's
Watch it.
It's one that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to watch alone because I know a little about Junkie XL, so I can imagine what it's.
It's just consistently pounding and pacing and just moving. But what surprised me were the softer moments, the more orchestral moments, like almost a symphony in the background. When you'll see it when they're driving through the sandstorm, and
Mm,
but you have so the whole chase you have this pounding, 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 all these different drums and beats, and it's intense. But then once the sandstorm in the distance is approaching, and you just see this huge landscape and the train of the chase, the music changes completely. Like the beat drops out, and you just have the violins and strings playing, but they're still going intensely, and it just it's almost like you're flying. That's
yeah.
how much it changes, and then inside the
Okay.
sandstorm is beautiful. It goes into this, it slows down, and it becomes this major, sad, swelling symphony,
Mm,
and it almost you have the trumpet. It's not blaring, but it's definitely it's almost like taps. You know, it's almost like a dirge, a funeral, in which it
yeah.
should be because a lot of people die.
Right.
But then I think my favorite track on there is called "Brothers in Arms," and it it's one of those tracks that you don't want to end, and it can get it catches you in this spiral of intensity, and when you just feel like you can just almost you can sense that okay, this is about to end, it's about to come, it's got some closure, but then it just starts over again, and it picks up, and you're like, awesome, another
Yeah.
30 seconds of this. uh, it's great. It matched the movie perfectly. It went well with the scenes, and it's a track. I base my favorites on what would I listen to over and over and over again,
Yeah.
and it's not just one song
Nope.
that stands out, but the entire album just fits.
I'll have to get a copy of that one then. That very very much reminds me of. I won't get too in detail, but any of these movies that Trent Reznor does the score for.
Hmm.
So The Social Network, or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Hmm.
Um, so good, man. And it's Trent freaking Reznor. So, and he's getting. I mean, he, he's the best.
I just want to give honorable mention, of course, to Hans Zimmer, my favorite composer.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be. We could do a whole video on Hans Zimmer and John Williams. I mean, it's
Pirates of the Caribbean,
uh
the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy.
yes. I was gonna say The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Um,
Gladiator, Lion King,
Hans
Crimson
Zimmer.
Tide.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. But the what did you think of 300?
Loved it. Oh, great. Great soundtrack to
That
that.
was what, Tyler Bates, right?
Yeah.
So
It's like a rock opera.
yeah, and that was the other thing too, is you remember the preview for that movie 300,
Uh-huh.
that song, dun, 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 Trent Reznor,
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Nine Inch Nails. Now he didn't specifically make that song for the movie, but
Hmm.
you know, I bought things in the past, and you were with me, just based on my taste of things. So, for instance, the Underworld score
Hmm.
was just no good. As you can imagine, the Freddy versus Jason, which actually had some good moments, but I don't recommend falling asleep while listening to it, and then because it has the creepy little girls that sing Freddy's, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. I woke up
Yeah.
to that one night,
Oh
and
my
it
god.
was,
That's
oh,
terrifying.
yeah.